So, welcome all
Kindly
participants.
mute yourself, Dr. Maker, Dr. Maker and Radha. Kindly mute yourself.
So, welcome all participants. Welcome, Dr. Ramaya sir. Uh, Thank you for uh, coming again. So, please continue with the session, sir.
Okay, sir. So we stuck here in this place. So the H base. So what I did, how I fixed, I'll tell you. Just I selected all these VMs and then go here and stop and then start. So this is a step. Then it is working fine. So always the small issues will be there. So we should not get stuck with that. So let us continue from this point. So there is no weather database here. So let me start with HBase. So we have some three exercises are there. Once we complete this, we'll go to Cassandra. Cassandra we have around 7, 8 are there. So more than 10 plus exercises are there. So we'll balance both the hands-on plus uh, slides. Both will try to balance because both we need to cover. So to create a database in HBase, just create the weather database. So it's created now. Again we'll list and see. Now you see three databases are there: customer, user, and weather. So we need the data basically for a. So there is one Git repository. I'll just open and show you. This is a Git repository. You can see here You can clone this repository using git clone. So I will send in the chat box. Somebody try parallelly if you want to try this. You can try this also. So I already done this. So when we do like this, what will happen? I'll open another window also. This is for Hive. We will keep this window for Hive. Then one more will open for the general command window. All are Ubuntu only, not Ubuntu, Debian Linux. So here, this is the path home Digitron Solutions 10. My mail ID that one. So then, so we'll try with ls command. Here you can see once you clone, if you do the cloning, suppose you run the clone command, so the folder will be cloned. So after that, we go to this path, cd. This is the path. You can see here. There is something called, this is a big data basically, 121 hourly dot text. So this is the big data. So this file we'll try to open and see. 120. So this is a big data. So you can see here different columns are there. So whether the data, let me come out of this. So then we'll go to home. Okay, then we have downloaded the text file. So then we'll create a folder, for example, data new, but already there this one. This is HDFS command, what I told, the Hadoop file system. So we have to create a storage for this, but already there, I created yesterday. So anyway, I'll try this. So file exists. So because yesterday I tried. Then again one more command I'll give. So this is this minus p will create the complete path also. Then let me copy this file, whatever what we have the file. We'll just try to copy this. The Hadoop file system, copy from local, home. This is the path where we downloaded the file, text file, to the folder HDFS. This is the file we are going to copy now. So file exists again. File exists problem. Then anyway, yesterday I did this, so that is the reason it is there. So then let us create a quick file. This is a quick script we can create. Sudo. First I'll remove this. So I removed the script. Now one more time I will create now. You can see here. I'll copy the script from my local machine. So this IP address is very modern. 104.197.124.204. This I have to confirm. So 104. 104, 197, 124, 204. This IP, we have to confirm it. Then what it will do, it's loading the file from this path. Then for each raw data from column 1 to 10, it copies to weather data. Then it's the ranked data, it's giving rank also. Then filtering. Next step is filtering the data, rank by $0. That means first column is not a null. Then store final data into. This is the whatever we created now, the database, HBase. It's going to write into this database. Using what? Using HBase storage with info, date, and temperature. So we need two columns, date and temperature. Let me save this. Yes. To work with the big data analytics, better if you understand Linux, it is better actually. So what is the next step now? Now we'll execute this. So file already created. So now I'll execute. So this command, pick command, -x local, from local drive it is taking. Then this is a part of the file. Just will execute, we'll see what is happening. Running now. We'll see what is that. See now map is doing map and reduce. It will do map reduce. See map task executor. You can see here percentage complete also. Here you can see the map reduce launcher, 75% complete. So we have to complete 100%. So we have to wait for the 100% completion. It has done now. So total records around 4 million records it has written. Around 4 million records now has written. So now we will go back to HBSL. We'll see whether the weather database, whatever we create, it's updated or not. For that, you would use scan command you would use. So we are limiting to 5 because 4 million record will take approximately 1 hour to display all 4 million. So at any time, any cost, don't run only scan weather. So it will be, you have to wait for 1 hour. So here you limit to 5 records. Here you can see the records, the latest 5 records. We limited to 5 records. You can see here the values are displayed. Date and temperature, both are displayed. Timestamp, value, suppose if you make it large, so here you can see row number 1, 10, 100 like that. Here you can see date, timestamp and values for the date, this one. So you can see here Fahrenheit. So 21, 30, 28, 38. So this is a Fahrenheit display. So we will move to next exercise. If you have any doubt, you can ask in this exercise. So if you want to do in parallel, I can send the text files. So this I will send through chat window. So totally around 5 steps are there. So first 2 steps I send, now 3 and 4 I'll send. Anyway, the text file I'll share with Sudeep sir. Fifth step. Note down these comments in the notepad. We'll move to next exercise. If you don't have any question, we'll move to next exercise. Do you have any questions in this? If you don't understand something or if you want to ask anything, just ask me. Then if there is no question, I'll move to next exercise. So the exercise 3 is...
Sir, any sizes there for the text?
Which text, sir?
Sir, transferring, copying the file. If you have any size,
How much
size,
size of the file which we can
size
copy?
of the file? Yes, sir.
Any limitation is there like that you are asking?
Yeah. I'm asking any limitation is there for size?
For whatever copying to HDFS.
Yes,
you are
sir.
asking HDFS or normal
Yes,
copy?
yes.
HDFS.
Yes, sir.
HDFS, sir, I copied till 5 GB data, sir. I don't know exactly, but frankly speaking, I don't know exact upper limit. But
Okay,
5 GB data also I copied so far.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Maybe more also we can try, but time and you have to budget time for that.
Okay. Okay.
You
Okay.
wait till it copies actually.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
So
sir.
if
Thank
you
you.
really want to do, maybe in the real time,
Yes, sir.
that kind of situation may not happen because
Yes, sir.
we are using nowadays streaming like Kafka streaming,
Yes,
so
sir.
then and there we'll collect the data and dispose of. So we don't keep some copy. Even if we keep in the, we'll keep it in the database.
Okay.
So like Cassandra database. So
Okay. Okay.
this is for just demo purposes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Just for demo. In real life scenario, different, sir. That is Kafka and the Cassandra kind of.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So we'll move to next exercise. So we'll write one Hive script. Now Pig script we completed. Hive script we'll see. So this window we'll use it for Hive. What we'll do, we'll create some Hive script first. So in LS, if we do. So yesterday I worked with, then this Hive file is there. First we'll remove this. Then we'll create freshly. So then we'll create new one. I will copy the script from my local machine. So create external table. So we are going to create a table. Its name is HBase weather. So it has integer and date, key dates and temperature, 3 columns. Saturday also we are using. Then stored by storage handler, HBase storage handler with properties like mapping we are doing, key, date and temperature. Then table properties are like weather table is the table name. Let me save this. From the weather table, whatever we created now, now we are going to copy it to Hive table. So we are going to execute now. Let us start Hive now. So one advantage with the Dataproc is we need not install all this. Otherwise, installing HBase, Hive and Pig and Zookeeper, Hadoop, this 5 will take a lot of time. And you have to install in 3 pieces because 3 nodes you need. So it's a really tough time. But now this Dataproc is making our life simple. So let us run this Hive first. So we need to set some parameters. So in Dataproc, some issues there. So I searched in internet, I found some solution. For example, this parameter we had set. Then next one is some minimum size. These 2 parameters need to be set. Now we'll see whether the HBase whether yesterday also I was working, so maybe that we try to drop this table. So the syntax is drop table if exists HBase underscore weather. So now we'll run this script now. So we are going to run the script. 5. So there is on whatever we created now. So you can check any error has come. So this is the script we executed. So now we'll go back and check whether any tables are there. So show tables in the Hive window. So HBase weather is there. So one table is created. Now what we'll do, we'll display the values. For example, 10,000 values, so like from the HBase weather, that means the whatever from HBase database, we copied the data to Hive table. So we'll select the 1,000 records, 10,000 records we'll take from that and we'll display. So here you can see map and reduce 0, 0. So here map is 100%. See here the data is displayed. So 10,000 data we display. The temperature and then date, timestamp, and then all three columns displayed here. So how long it takes time? 37 seconds, fetch 10,000 rows. So then one more exercise will do. Create a Hive table from HBase table called user. We'll create a user. We'll create a user table now in the HBase. List. So user table is there. First we have to disable, then we have to remove, again we have to create. First let us disable this. Disable, then drop this database, then we'll create one more time. So now again list will do. It's created. Now we'll add records. How to add? Put command will use. So this is a user table. First row, column family 1. The value is A, value 1. So column family 1, the column name A, under that value 1. Then the second record, in the column family 1 only, the B, under B will save value 2. Then column family 2, under C will saving the value 3. Similarly, we'll add some more records. I'll quickly add this. Value 4, value 5, value 6, value 7. Now I want to check whether the values are displayed or not. Now all values are displayed. So I am adding row by row, one by one I am adding into the first time what we did from the text file we just inserted to the HBase database. Second time we are manually adding one by one, row by row we are adding. So this is the second difference between the first exercise and the second exercise. Now what we'll do, in the Hive environment, we'll create one more Hive table. So in the Hive environment, what we'll do, we'll create a Hive table. Directly, not using the script, just in the command line I'm going to. So what I did is, so just if you see the previous command, so create one external table. You see here, create external table. Name is HBase table user. These are all the row stored by HBase storage handler with the side properties like A, B, C, and table properties. The name of the table, HBase table, is user. Here, when any error has come, just check it. So here, the table already exists. So yesterday I did it. So we have to remove first. Then we have to do same way. How we did we'll do in the same way. The name of the table is HBase table user. So first we'll drop this table, then we'll create. This is the error it is showing. So now what we have to do is, Drop the table if exists. HBase table user. So any error has come. So OK has come. This time OK is coming. So OK is there. 0.137 second. So again we'll execute the previous command there. We'll try to create now. Create external table. From the command line directly I can create. This time OK is coming. So we'll just check whether show tables. Show table. Now it is created. HBase table user. Let us describe this table. What and all columns are there? We'll check it. So, some third got concurrent execution happened. Try one more time. Here you see the key value is displayed here. Value 1, value 2, value 3, 4 records basically. 4 rows, 3 records as displaying. Okay. Now all values will try to display. Again map reduce only. So started map reduce. So here you can see row 1 to 3, all values whatever we given displayed. So in the row 1, family ABC is there. Under ABC we stored here. Let's compare this. In the row 1, under ABC we stored these 3 values, value 1 to 3. So it is displayed in this way. Then in the row 2, value 4 and 5 we copied. So we in the row 2, column family A, the column family 1 under A nothing is stored. That is why null is coming. Null value is allowed in the in SQL it will give error, but here no, it will not give. That is the advantage of no SQL. So that's all. This exercise done. But I'll just, as usual, I'll send through command window. So if you have any question, you can ask now. You can copy these commands. Anyway, text file I'll send through. Sudeep sir. You can copy these commands and try. Then one more tutorial 3.2 also there. Outside. last line I got cut actually. Create text and layer. I will send one more time. It has some capacity. This much only we can send like that. So you can copy paste this also. We'll move to next exercise. Do you have any doubt? Any questions? You don't have any question? We'll move to next exercise. So can I move to next exercise?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you have to copy a text file from the WinSCP. I told you. So from WinSCP, we have to use WinSCP to copy this file. So as I explained morning, you have to copy the file. After that, you see here it will come here, the home page, input.txt, or the name of the file is cust.txt. Cust.txt. So we'll open this, sudo cust.txt. So I will send this file also. Sorry. Cust.txt. See here, this is a table. We have some records. Around 15 records are there, 20 records are there. Customer record, customer number, first name, last name, age, profession. So customer number is 401, then Christian, Chang, 55, pilot. Like this, 20 records are there. This file you have to copy from your local PC to this virtual machine. Then next step is we'll see the list. If you see, so if you go and see the list, there is a customers table. Is there, yesterday whatever I created. We'll delete first this one. For that, disable first. Then drop. Then now you see the list. So this customer now. Now we'll create. Created. Again list. See this time again customers. Now we'll create one script. So if you do the ls, there is one file called load custom. Load cust is there. Load cust.dict is there. We'll remove this and we'll create one more time. First we remove and we create one more time. So I'll copy the script from the local PC. I'll explain. So here what we are doing is raw data we are creating. We are loading the cust.txt file, whatever we loaded. So here using peak storage, customer number is character array, first name, last name, age, profession. Then we are storing the raw data into. In HBase, we created a customer database now. We are going to save this, whatever we are reading from the cust.txt, we are going to save into HBase customer. First name, last name, age, and profession. So let us save this. Then we will execute this. So here you see 20 records are written. So next step is a Hive table also will create based on this one. So we'll see whether any table called cust.hive is there. Store tables. Maybe here. So here you see first we'll create a script here. So here we will check ls here cust.hive already there. So we'll drop this first. We'll delete this one. We'll create new script. I'll copy the script from the local machine. I'll explain this. So now create external table called HBase Hive Cust. Actually, this HBase Hive Cust already there, so we have to drop this. Then integer, string, and integer string. This ID, first name, last name, age, and profession. Stored by HBase storage handler. 30 properties are like here you can see key, customer data, file name, customer data, last name, customer data, age. See, we mapped this. Then we are creating one customers in the HBase table. We are going to create one HBase table. We are going to use this customers table from the HBase, and we are going to create this Hive table. So let us save this. So here, now in the Hive, we'll execute this. Before executing this, we'll remove this first. We'll drop this. Same like last time how we dropped. Same way we drop. Just a minute. I'll copy. So before executing this script, whatever we created now, let us first drop this table, whatever are already existing. The name of the table is HBase Hive Cust. So let me drop this first, then drop this table. Here, okay, we are getting. So anyway, we'll confirm with store tables. Now you see that table is not there. Now we'll run the script. So to run the script, you have to call Hive, and the file name you have to give us cust.hive. So just execute. So it's okay is coming. Store tables. Here you see, again this table is added. Now let us see whether can we display the values. So MapReady started 0, 0. Oh, 100. See the values here. This customer table, now it's displaying the values. Do you have any doubts? If we don't have any doubts, we will move to next. So can I move to next exercise? Hello? Do you have any question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now the Couchbase we completed. Couchbase sufficient. This much. We used pig and hive to interact with the space table. Then Zookeeper anyway it's running in background. So the idea here is the data proc we use to create the cluster. Otherwise, the cluster creation itself is a big project. It takes several hours. So what we did is we created the cluster. That is the one thing what we did. Now, what we'll do, we'll move to Cassandra. Cassandra will move to Cassandra. Now we have some slides. We'll move some slides and then again come back to exercise. So NoSQL. So morning we saw NoSQL. So now the resilient distributed data sets, that is RDD. So for the Cassandra is falling under Spark family. Not Hadoop. HBase is falling under Hadoop family, whereas Cassandra is falling under Spark family. So let us briefly understand what is Spark and what is RDD and all. So it will be useful for when running our exercise, Cassandra exercise. So resilient distributed data sets, that is RDD basically. So what is RDD? So the motivation is most current cluster programming models are based on acyclic data flow from stable storage to stable storage. So we are using map and reduce. Input we are giving, output we are getting. So the benefits of data flow is runtime can decide whether to run tasks and can automatically recover from failures. Even some node is failed. So suppose we are using 3 nodes, one node is failing. So with the 2 nodes we can complete the task. The acyclic data flow is inefficient for applications that are iteratively reuse a working set of data. So iterative algorithms, for example, machine learning, graphs and all. Then interactive is data mining tools like R, Excel, Python. With current frameworks, apps reload data from stable storage on each query. So anyway, our big data flow streaming is happening, even though streaming is happening. So it has to go to the storage first. Then our application like visualization, machine learning, all can be done. Graph generation, visualization like graph and all you can do. So for that resilient distributed RDDs are used, allow apps to keep working sets in memory for efficient reuse, retain the attractive properties of MapReduce, fault tolerance, data locality, scalability, support a wide range of applications. That is why RDD is very popular. What is Spark? Fast and expressive cluster computing system compatible with Apache Hadoop. From Hadoop only we guard Spark also. So improves efficiency through general execution graphs, in-memory storage, improves usability through rich APIs in Java, Scala, and Python. So these three programs are used for big data analytics. Interactive cell also there. So 10x faster on this, 100x in memory. 2 to 5 times less code. Key idea is write programs in terms of transformations on distributed data sets. Concept is resilient distributed data sets. So here collections of objects spread across a cluster. So built through parallel transformations, map and reduce, filter and all. Automatically rebuilt on failure, controllable persistence, caching in RAM. So this is the new point they introduced, caching in RAM. So the sum of the data is always cached in the RAM. That is why it is very fast. Transformations like map, filter, group by, or aggregations also possible. Lazy operations to build RDDs from other RDDs. Actions like count, collect, save and all. Return a result right into storage. How fault recovery is happening? RDDs track lineage information that can be used to efficiently recompute lost data. Even lost data, no, it's recovered. See, one node is failed, then that data is lost, but the data has to can be taken from other nodes actually. For your messages, text file filter. So here lambda function is used, start with error. Map also using. Split by T. Slash T means two words are split by the tab. So input is a HDFS file, then filtered RDD, mapped RDD. Behavior with less RAM. The execution time you see 100 seconds. Cache disabled means 69 seconds it takes, whereas fully cached is only 12 seconds it takes. So that is the advantage of RDD. Iterations, if you see, Hadoop takes more time. 127 seconds per iteration, when the running time is 4000 seconds. Whereas Spark takes, even you see the number of records, irrespective of number of records, or now running time, this takes almost constant time. Like first iteration 174 seconds, further iterations only 6 seconds. So that is the advantage of Spark. Now let us see what is Cassandra. So today's workload is very speed also, avoid single point of failure, that is SPOF, TCO total cost of operation, fewer system administrators, incremental scalability, scale out, not out. What do you mean by this? We'll see in the next slide. Scale out, not scale up. What is scale up? Grow your cluster capacity by replacing with more powerful machines. Traditional approach, not cost effective, and you need to replace the machine often. For example, today you have Pentium machine with i3, then i5 is coming, i7 is coming, i9 is coming. So every time you have to replace. Scale out is incrementally grow your cluster capacity by adding more COTS machines. That is component of the set. So in your case, what you will do, you have i3, i5 and all. Use retain these machines, add new machine like i7 you can add. Whenever you get money, just add one more machine. This is cheaper over a long duration, phase in few newer, faster machines, as you phase out a few older machines. So i3 you remove, i9 you add, like that. Used by most companies who run data centers and clouds today. What is the data model? What do you know SQL? Here also key value pair only used. Not only SQL, necessary API operations, get, put, these two are there, and some extended operations like CQL. So this is what we are going to see in the exercise. We have a lot of exercises in this. Tables, Column family again, like our HBase column family is used. So table in HBase, collection in MongoDB. So here we are calling as column families. In HBase we are calling table, collection we are calling in the MongoDB, like RDBMS tables, but maybe unstructured also, may not have schemas, don't always support joins or have foreign keys. So foreign key concept is gone now. Can have index table just like RDBMS. The key value pair, if you see here, keys are there, user IDs, then values are there, name, zip code, URL, all those. So now, instead of maintaining individual column, you maintain as block table. It's unstructured columns missing from some rows. So here you see the column is missing. It's okay, perfectly okay. No schema imposed, no foreign. See, if schema is there, CKL will throw the error in this case. No foreign key, that is another advantage. Joins may not be supported. So inner join or outer join. How to achieve this? A distributed key value is stored. So distributed again, node 1, 2, 3 like that, intended to run in a data center. Originally designed at Facebook, open source later, it's Apache project now. Some of the companies that use Cassandra in their production cluster. So here you have the ring actually. Cassandra uses ring-based DHT but without finger tables or routing. Here you see we have different nodes. So from this to this, we have one replica. This to this another replica. This to this another replica. Like that. Replicas are stored in different nodes, and range is used here. Read write K3. The replication strategy, two options are there: simple strategy, network topology strategy. Simple strategy means what? So in our exercise, we are going to use simple strategy only. Uses the partitioner, of which there are two kinds of random partitioner and byte ordered partitioner. Random partitioner means card like hash partitioning. So it's a card basically. You see to know from this to this hash table, hash values will change. Card based hash partitioning. Byte ordered partitioner assigns ranges of keys to servers, easier to range queries. Get me all Twitter using starting with A to B. So this is a big query basically, but still it will give the, within few seconds it will give the result. Network topology strategy, a multi data center deployment, 2 replicas per data center, 3 replicas per data center. First replica placed according to partitioner, then go clockwise around ring until you hit the different rack. So this is one rack, then another rack, then another rack. Database operations, switches, a maps also there, IPs to racks and DCs, configured in Cassandra.yaml config file. Some options like simple snitch, rack inferring, property file snitch, EC2 snitch, like that. Some options are there in this OAML file. You have to configure properly. So this simple means unaware of topology. Rack inferring means assumes topology of network by actor server's IP address. So IP address you can give. Property file snitch is uses a config file. Here you see uses EC2, that is Amazon. So how writes are happening? Need to be lock free and fast. Client sends write to one coordinator node, Cassandra cluster. Coordinator may be per key, per client, and per query. Per key coordinator ensures writes of the key are serialized. So in a serial manner, its writing is happening. Coordinator uses partitioner to send query to all replica nodes. Suppose you have 3 replica nodes. Here also, here also, here also. It will send it to 3 places. Whether it is written properly or not, also we can check. That also all nodes properly written or few node is sufficient. Suppose one node is there, okay, go ahead by that. That kind of also there. When X replicas respond, coordinator returns an acknowledgement to the client. What is X actually? That is what we are going to see. We are going to see later. So another one is always writable. Hinted handoff mechanism. If any replica is down, the coordinator writes to all other replicas and keeps the write locally until down replica comes back up. So it knows the zookeeper and all, it will inform this node is not available, so it will write only 2 places. Where DC leader can be elected to coordinate with other DCs. So in the data center also, some node will be here in the first data center. This is in a second data center. So then data center wise also it will elect actually. For example, one member from here, one member from here, like that. So election done via zookeeper. So zookeeper is used here also. For example, data center 1 has some nodes, data center 2 has some nodes. Then the election, suppose I want 3 replica, it will take it from 1 from data center 1, second one from data center 3, 2, and third one from data center 3. Like that, it will elect from different data centers. So zookeeper coordinates this. So writes a replica node. On receiving a write, log it in the disk commit log. Then make changes to appropriate memory tables. First, memory tables are prepared actually. Key value pairs. Cache that can be searched by key. Then write back cache are supposed to write to. This will, in the subsequent slide, it will be explained. So we have different the memory tables and then SS table also. So SS table means what? A data file sorted string table, list of key value pairs sorted by key. Here index file SS table of key position of table and a Bloom filter. Okay, we'll understand what is the Bloom filter. A Bloom filter is a data structure designed to tell you rapidly and memory efficiently whether an element is present in a set. So here I want to show you one particular website where we can understand the Bloom filter actually. Let me open all the exercise. So here let me open this one website and then I'll show you the demo of Bloom filter. So this is a Bloom filter by example. A Bloom filter is a data structure designed to tell you rapidly and memory efficiently whether an element is present in a set. So the price paid for the efficiency is that Bloom filter is a probabilistic data structure. So the probabilistic data structure means how will you understand it? The base data structure of a Bloom filter is a bit vector. Here is small one we will use to demonstrate. Here you see bit vector 0 to 14 are there. Each empty cell in the table, this is empty cells now. Each empty cell in the table represents a bit and the number below it, it's index. To add an element to the Bloom filter, we simply hash it few times and set the bits in the bit vector at the index of those hashes to 1. Let's set to 0 or 1. So it is easier to see what that means than explain it. So enter some strings and see how the bit vector changes. For example, FNV and murmur is the 2 strings. 2 hash functions are available. For example, enter a string. So I will enter one string called good. The FNV is 8 and murmur is, your set is good now. Now bad. Good and bad both are there in the setting. So now you see F1 V6. Here you can see. So here you can see the green is the latest one. Green is the latest one. Like murmur is 3, F1 V6. So the latest one is 3 and 6. The old one, first time when we enter good, bad, and better will enter. Now you see the changes in the. See now it's changed again. Now you see the F1V mass function is 12, murmur is 1. So here you see, here the green is the latest one. The old two hash functions are not active now. When you add a string, you can see that the bits at the index given by the hashes are set to 1. I used a color green to show the newly added ones, but any colored cell is simply 1. To test our membership, you simply hash the string with the same hash functions, then see if those values are set in the bit vector. If they are not, you know that the element is not in the set. If they are, you only know that it might be because another element of some combination of other element would have set the same bits. Now I am setting good. So this element is in the set, maybe. Probability of false positive is 16%. So what is false positive? So the expected string is the good, the actual one is positive. So then you type bad. Bad is there or not? Maybe. Better. Now every time you see it's giving the index of 1 and murmur 1, F1 V12. You can see here 1 and 12 are there. So that is what green last time. Now it changed. So you can see it is appropriately finding the respective hash functions whenever we search. So this is the basics for a Bloom filter. I will send this link also. You can try to understand this concept. I'll send through chat box. You can note on this. So on answer, set all hashed bits. On check if present, return true if all hashed bits set. False positives. False positive rate is very low. K is equal to 4 hash functions, 100 items, 3200 bits. Now false positive rate is 0.02%. So it is appropriately finding the respective hash functions and then picking the data. What is compaction? Data updates accumulate over time and SS tables, and logs need to be compacted. The process of compaction merges SS table, that is by merging updates for a key, run periodically and locally at each server. First we are doing compaction, compress the data, delete, don't delete item right away, add a tombstone to the log. Eventually, when compaction encounters tombstone, it will delete. Initially, it will not delete, it will keep it, it will mark it and go. So in the later stage, it will get deleted. Now reads are happening. So the X, in the last slide we saw some X is defined. What do you mean by X? Similar to writes, except coordinator can contact X replicas. Coordinator sends read to the replicas that have responded quick set in past. When X replicas respond, coordinator returns the latest timestamp value from among those X. So what is X we will see now. Coordinator also fetches value from other replicas, checks consistency in the background, initiating a read repair if any two values are different. This mechanism seeks to eventually bring all replicas up to date. So how we are getting up-to-date data? See, we have old data also, new data also. How we are picking the up-to-date? That the subsequent slide will see this. This line will understand in the subsequent slides. A row may be split across multiple SS tables. Reads need to touch multiple SS tables. Reads slower than the writes, but still fast. How membership happens? Any server in the cluster could be the coordinator. So every server needs to maintain a list of all other servers that are currently in the server. So list needs to be updated automatically as servers join, leave, and fail. So these three can happen. Some node can join, some can leave, some can fail. Zookeeper maintains all this list. So this is the example. You see the first set, the numbers and the corresponding values are the timestamps. Then in the second node, you see, this is the first node. Second node, you see, the data 10118 is different, but you see 10111 is present here also, and 10111 is present in the third node also. So, but all our latest data 665, the timestamp will tell which is the latest data. If timestamp is old, it will be marked red and it will be removed from the list in the later point of stage. So nodes periodically gossip. This is gossip protocol. So every node will tell what it is having the content to other nodes. It's a gossip protocol. On receipt, the local membership list is updated also. If any heartbeat older than the fail, node is marked as fail. So heartbeat is very older, then the node is marked as it is failed already. So how RDBMS is compared? MySQL is one of the most popular one. Greater than 50 GB data. MySQL writes 300 millisecond average, reads 350 millisecond average. Same data set, the 50 GB. In Cassandra, it writes 0.12 millisecond average, 15 millisecond, read also 15 millisecond average. You can compare these two data. How fast the NoSQL? Orders of magnitude faster. What is the catch? What did we lose? So this is the trade-off, CAPE trade-off. So we have consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. In the RDBMS, for example, you are doing a bank transaction. That is where consistency and availability should be more important. Whereas when you are using NoSQL, partition tolerance and availability are important. Consistency we don't bother. Whereas the consistency and partition tolerance are very important. Then HBase is used in this case. So like that you select which database, what is your need. For example, bank your payment, online payment you are doing, that time you cannot take any risk. So you will go here. But if it is some streaming data like audio video, you can go here. Starting point of NoSQL revolution, a distributed storage system can achieve at most two of CA and P. When partition tolerance is important, you have to choose between consistency and availability. So you have to decide which one is important for you. The key value stores, while RDBMS provide ACID property, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. Cassandra gives basically available soft state eventual consistency. So what is eventual and strong? That we'll discuss in the subsequent slides. Back to Cassandra. So Cassandra has consistency levels. So the X, what we in the last 2-3 slides we already saw X. It can be any server. You can save in the any server or all server or one server or quorum. What do you mean by quorum? Quorum, how it is decided, that we'll see in the next slides. So quorums. A quorum is a set of nodes. So majority is greater than 50%. If you set quorum equal to majority, more than 50, for example, you have 5 nodes, more than 50% means 3 nodes will be saved. Any 2 quorum intersect, client 1 does a write in red quorum, then client 2 does read in the blue quorum. So then intersect will happen. At least one server in blue, quorum returns latest write. Quorums faster than all, but still ensure strong consistency. We'll come back to the slide. We'll move some exercise also. We are approaching 4:30, so we have to maintain the timing also. So we'll come back to slides a little later. If we have time, we'll continue. Otherwise, you can go through now. Let us start the Cassandra. Let me open all the exercise. So close some of the items here. So same way Dataproc you can use, but here one thing is the only one node is sufficient. You don't require 3 nodes. I'll close this also. So then HBase we don't require, exit. Then Hive also not required, exit. So we'll close this window. Okay, done. So we have two screens. Let it be there. So let me start the exercise in the Cassandra. You can also do parallelly. Same way the installation is same almost. One difference is there that I showed you in the firewall. The firewall one difference morning I showed. Now Cassandra installation. These are all the installation steps actually. I will send through the chat window. Somebody try in the parallelly. Somebody try parallelly. You want to try, you can try. So you can go through this. So you can do these steps. This is the way Cassandra is installed. So for that we need steps like sudo update, then install Cassandra, then sudo system control status. That I will start. I will start from that point. So system control status. We'll start with this data. This system, the installation already done. So I'll start like this. So now you see active exited. No tool status will see. No tool status. So fail to connect to connection refuse. So to solve this problem, what we have to do is, morning we got similar issue. Same way we'll resolve. So we'll just what we'll do, we'll restart. Because of HBase, the settings got changed. Let us restart, stop this, and then start. So till it starts, let us continue the slide. I will move to other screen. Slide will continue. So quorums in detail. Several key values, NoSQL, stores, and use quorums. Client specifies value of R. So here it reads number of reads. If less than or equal to n, n is total number of replicas of that key. For example, 3 replicas are there. N is equal to 3. R is read consistency level. Coordinator waits for R replicas to respond before sending result to client. In background, coordinator checks for consistency of remaining NR replicas. So instances stopped. I will start again one more time. That also will take some 1 or 1 minute minimum. Let it start. Brother will continue. In background, coordinator checks the consistency of remaining NR replicas and initiates read repair if needed. That means, so R consistency may vary actually. If you say I want only one machine has to be, then the R is 1, but N is number of node is totally 5 nodes are there. So here, let me open this. Okay. So the next step is we will check system control status. Okay. Now node status also will check. So the second check is you have to do node tool status. So node tool status. So again some error is coming. So nodes stored, no nodes present in the cluster as this node finished starting up. So still the starting error. Okay, here you see data center equal to data center 1. Yeah, now looks okay. So now what we'll do, we'll just read the system log. This also, we can come out of this and use this also. So this is the system log. Again come out. Then find there is a library file is there or not. Yeah, it is there. Then we will do SQL SH. Okay. Now we open the cell we open SQL cell. This is where we are going to give the. If this is there, that means your Cassandra is installed properly. What I will do, I will send these steps through the chat window. You can try parallelly or note down this. And anyway, I will send the text file through Sripsa. Then so to check your Cassandra installation is proper or not, you have to use these steps. If this is there, then your installation is proper. Now we will go to the next exercise. We will create a key space and the table. So what is key space? It's a kind of database, collection of table will be there. So let us start with the key space. So first, before starting the key space, we'll see so I'm trying to create one key space, just a key space. The name is test key space with replication simple strategy. Replication factor is only one because we don't have nodes here. We are not using the other nodes. So durable write is true. That means we want for a long time. That is. So we created. So after creating this, we can describe this. What is the scheme of this one, this particular thing? So here we have, see the number of the one new key space is created. If you want, you can drop also. Suppose if you want to drop the key space, and again check this time. This time the key space will not be there. See here, this is not there now. Now again we'll do. Again we'll do test key space. This time it has to display. Okay, this time it is there. Test key space. Then we are going to create one table now. Create table. Okay, first you have to, before creating the table, you have to use the key space. Then you have to create the table. So use key space. Then you create the table. Okay, this time it is created. Now describe table you put. What you will get? So here there is a table created, employee by ID. Suppose if you want to drop the table, you can use drop command. Then again you take this time, describe the table. There is no table at all. So what we'll do, again we'll create. Then describe the table. So now this time it is there. Now what we'll do, one more table will create by Carmack. Employee by Carmack. Here Carmack is a text, ID is integer, car model is text, primary key is Carmack and ID. These two are primary keys. So now one more table I am going to create. That's name is employee by Carmack sorted. Sudeep sir, how long we can take more? So maybe another 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay?
Yes, sir, it's fine.
How
You
long?
can accept 5
Maybe
10 minutes, no issues.
10 minutes, okay. At least one exercise we'll try to close.
Yes, sir, sure.
So then, one more is, so sorted we created, then one more table is, so employee by Carmack and model. Here Carmack is there, car model is there, ID is there, name is the primary key also. Primary key is Carmack and car model and ID, 3 are there. So now these are all the tables we created. This is the first exercise. So the next exercise I'll open. Now we are going to add some data and we are going to see. The next exercise is we are going to check consistency and inserting the data and then selecting the data or viewing the data. These three we are going to see. So quorum, as we saw, so if we select the quorum will maintain at least the total number of node plus 1 divided by n plus 1 by divided by 2, it will maintain, the quorum will maintain. So here you see the consistency if you want to check. Suppose if you want to change the consistency level, quorum you want to check. So now the consistency level is 1. That means only one read it will happen. Suppose consistency if you want to change it to quorum, you can change. Consistency level is changed to quorum now. How to revert back? Consistency 1 you can put. Then it is revert back to 1. So now you see, now I am going to insert a record into employee by ID. So one record I inserted. Now one more record. So here serial number, employee ID, name and designation. 3 are there. Now we'll see how the record will be displayed. See, 2 records are added. One is employee ID, name and position. Now if you want to select particular record, for example ID 1 only I want, how will you do? Select star from employee by ID table where ID equal to 1, almost like SQL one. So the Cassandra language also almost similar to SQL one. Then we'll add some more records. Insert, that is in different table, Carmack table. Insert, some more records I'll add. And so I added some 3-4 records. Now we'll see how many records are added. The Carmack, 4 records are added. If I want to particular model, I want to search. For example, BMW car I want to search. Then see here, 2 records are fetched. Because BMW is my primary key, that is why it is. Carmack is my primary key, that is why red color it is displaying. So it is easily picking. Then some criteria I am giving, RD, that also picked. Now what I will do, I will add some more records in the employee by Carmack. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So now we'll see how many records are there. Select star from employee by Carmack. See here, totally 8 records are there. So some more records we are going to insert in the other table by model or make and model. 1, 2, 3. In this case, you see, what is the difference here? Name is missing. Still it is accepting. So even one column is missing, it is accepting. That is the speciality of column oriented. It will insert null value. We'll see that. So now I have inserted 5 more records. So select star from employee. Here in 2 records null is there because we not given the data. That is the one change here. So let me move to the another where timestamps we'll see. So now we'll see the timestamps examples. So here, employee by Carmack. See, employee by Carmack, if you see in this table, so we have car model, right time. See, right time is displayed. This is the timestamp. Now I am updating. One record I am going to update. So far we inserted and we viewed. Now this is the update is the third command, update command. In this table, I am setting the value truck where Carmack BMW and ID is 1. So now if you see the table, if you display the table, you can see this, change it to truck. Now time to live. So TTL value. What is time to live? I want only for 15 minutes. How do you do that? And see here, in this case, update one record, only it will be alive for only 60 seconds. After that, it will change, it will revert back. How it will revert back? For example, now, this is the table employed by Carmack. Now the value is written as truck because I updated to truck. But after 60 seconds, you see, null will be displayed. Why? The time to live, TTL value we have entered here. The time to live, using time to live is 60 seconds. So after 60 seconds, it will be reverted to null. This time is displaying. Sir, Sudeep sir, can we stop here or how, sir? Because some more exercises are there anyway. I think they can execute themselves only.
Sure, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
can we get these something like a workbook sort of?
Yeah,
list of
I
queries
can
which
give
we-
this whatever exercise commands I can send through.
Yes, sir. All the
To
commands.
Sudeep sir, I will send. Like you can distribute to Sudeep sir.
Sure, sir. We'll circulate from there.
Sudeep sir, you can take and you can distribute to all the students.
Sure, sir.
So
No
I
issues.
think we can stop here because some more exercises are there, but again 15-20 minutes more it will take. So already many people left actually, so they don't have patience.
Okay,
So
No,
better
no,
we
not about patience. Actually, maybe the college timing was till 4:30, so due to that or something, there can be various
Are you
reasons.
functioning,
It was quite.
madam? College is opened or what?
Sir, few colleges are open, few colleges are closed. For us, colleges open.
Because here in Karnataka, everything lockdown. Everybody lockdown.
Okay. No, sir, here colleges are open. Not for students, but for faculties, it's open.
Okay. So let us conclude here. I will send now same way. Just execute it will happen. I think. So that's it.
Okay, sir, sure. Sure, no issues. Sir, can you share your email ID? Some of the participants are asking for email ID.
Yeah. Email ID, my WhatsApp number also I'll give.
Okay, sir. That will be really nice of you.
Contact letter. WhatsApp number is So if you WhatsApp, I'll reply. Sometimes I don't pick the call because a lot of marketing calls. I assume some marketing call. They are not.
Okay,
So,
sir. So I'd like to thank you on behalf of BIT Durg.
yeah.
It was really nice to have you with us in this session. Your session was really, really informative. Thank you so much for your kind words and your time. Uh, just I'd like to summarize today's session, the first session and the third one. Sir started with the theoretical basics of column-oriented databases, then the basics of Cassandra, the installation of HBase through Hadoop via GCP. He told us quite a lot of things through GCP installation. And finally, he concluded the session with Hive scripting. So I hope the things were quite useful for all of us. We will get the PPT and the queries also. So for any queries or for anything, you can contact Sir directly or you can contact through us. No issue. So thank you so much. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we are gonna gather here again. Tomorrow's session will be taken by Professor Sudeep Bhattacharya, and he will take session on Redis and HBase. Sorry, Redis and Memcache. Sorry. He will be taking session on Redis and Memcache. So we'll be gathering here at morning 10:30. Thank you so much, everyone. Partha sir, would you like to conclude again?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Um, Ramaiah, sir. Thank you very much for spending your valuable time with us and valuable knowledge with us. With the
Welcome.
practical demonstrations, everything must be clear to all the candidates. So thank you again. Hope we will meet again in some other
Yes, sir. Hope to meet you again.
FDP.
Yes, sir. We'll
We
plan
will
some
be very
data
thankful, sir, if you could
related
give us your
topic.
consent. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you all the participants. So please fill up the feedback and attendance link, and we are signing off. Thank you so much. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. I want to just thank Anvadan and Ramaya sir
Yes,
for
sir.
excellent presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
And you are very patient to just explain the things. Very much thank you, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. I'll leave the meeting, sir.
Sure, sir.
Bye, sir. Bye.
Partha sir, it is really excellent.
Thank you, sir. It's all the participants who are actually making the entire program a grand success.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
Thank you.
coordinating.
Thank you
We
all
are really
participants.
thankful to all the participants.
Thank you.
Means
Thank
you all are listening so patiently. We know it's really difficult to attend such long sessions, but we all are there with us till 4:30. It's really appreciating.
The
Thank you.
hard work and the sincerity of our faculty members is paying off, as we are seeing the success of these workshops and these sessions. Thank you
have
all
a
the participants for making our hard work fruitful.
you have a good
Thank you.
team, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, we have a very good team, sir. Really. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Let's sign off.